You're watching the Eternal Tournament Series.
And we are back. We have an exciting top 8 round 1 feature match for you. These are going to be the quarterfinals. It's going to be Ilunga versus Buckwheat. So it's going to be that Mono Justice deck that we've been talking about versus the Phone Control. Obviously, we've seen Buckwheat on camera a few times. Myself, of course, am Mark, aka Chibikawaii, with my co-caster
Gabe, also known as Calimdir.
And I believe our players started. They're about 2 turns into the game. Not a lot's been going on. I believe we're going to address the bracket after this game. Is that correct?
We can do that. We can do that after the game.
Okay, so awesome. Then we're going to be jumping in here. Basically, all that happened. Played a couple powers. The district inventory was played by Ilunga on the first turn. Power was played on their second turn, but the permafrost came out from Buckwheat's hand on their first turn as well. And now we're back up to speed.
Importantly, Ilunga is on the draw, and he had an Oath Book on turn 2, so he has an Oath Book in play now.
So as soon as he gets another creature in play, good things are going to start happening. And that is a pretty good creature in the Silverwing Familiar.
Yeah, unfortunately, Buckwheat has exactly the right answer for it. But, unfortunately for Ilunga. Fortunately for Buckwheat, obviously.
Yeah, we don't play favorites at all. But actually, that's a pretty interesting draw, the Copperhall Bailiff. But it looks like he's just going to go ahead and play another district inventory and another Oath Book. So whatever's going to be attacking is going to be attacking pretty heavily.
Yeah, but a deadly unit is going to just say, I don't care what your stats are. As long as it doesn't have evasion on it, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but this is now going to be a 3/3, and it's going to be a 5/5 when it attacks. So it can eat that steward if it really wants to.
Yeah, he's going to take that trade. I think Buckwheat takes that trade 100 times there. It's just he doesn't mind at all. He trades 1 for 1 and then eventually wins in the late game. That's his plan anyway.
However, this Copperhall Bailiff coming down is going to do some pretty good stuff. And unless he finds something to combo with that Witch, the Witch doesn't actually do a lot, right? Because the Witch sets his attack to 1, but then the Oath Books just pump it back up to a 3/3 or to 3 health.
Yeah, and now with the Mantle of Justice coming down, that's going to be a pretty large unit. And Buckwheat is out of cards. So this is actually, I wanted to touch up on this matchup and Ilunga's Sweet deck really quickly while this Copperhall Bailiff is beating in this poor Withering Witch. Never mind, no block. Okay, so Mono Justice is in top 8. Let's all take a moment to appreciate that Ilunga has made top 8 with Mono Justice. Drawing the Oath Book, that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
So what are the merits of Mono Justice and how does this matchup work? So Mono Justice gets you access to Mantle of Justice is the biggest draw, and it also gets you consistency. But you're restricted in what you can play. You're restricted to being able to, you basically are on the Flyers plan. That's really, you don't have access to enough solid ground attackers that like Rakano or Argenport or some other faction would give you. So you're locked into this flying plan, and Copperhall Bailiff is fine.
Now it might be too little, too late, but this champion coming down from Buckwheat, he's got all the influence that he needs. He can take one more hit. He's gonna be able to start attacking for quite a bit, and if Buckwheat can produce some jump blockers, he might be able to steal the game.
That's true. I mean, I'm not a mathematician, but I would venture to guess that Ilunga is winning this race.
Yeah, I mean, with the 2 vanquishes and the final top that, but we can dream, right?
Yeah,
we can hope.
A second champion is pretty good, and if he draws Steward of the Past or Annihilate, there are definitely a number of Annihilates in this deck.
Yes,
he's going to be in a reasonable position, I think.
Playing 3, so there should be 2 more left in the deck, but also there's a Feeding Time and the 2 Death Strikes, all of which all of which answer this Copper Hall Bailiff. And if that,
Oh
wow.
my goodness. Just,
All right.
I mean, hey, it makes Vera very powerful. It makes a Vera a very good draw.
Yes, however, Lunga is going to be able to follow up with this Runic Hammer at pretty much any time to get 4 points of damage in. And I kind of like just running it out here. Just getting in that 4 points of damage. And, like, I mean, I guess you open it up to Vara's favor on Buckwheat's side, so maybe...
I don't like that play at all because
No?
potentially he plays something that dies to hammer, and then you're giving.
What does the hammer?
You're right. There's nothing that really dies to hammer except for Witch, right? It's literally only playing around Witch.
And so you would have gotten an extra 4 points of damage in, right? And here's the Vara that I was.
Yeah.
But,
I don't know. There's merits to each play. I think playing around Witch is slightly better because it makes it so you just have lethal if you play Switch instantly. But
yeah, I think that's fair. Well, that is that's a very, very large hammer might. As now we're just in a crazy top deck war. All right.
Yeah, Buckwheat did not give up. He kept playing chump blockers, and he found an answer for this Copper Hall Bailiff. I mean, a Valkyrie Enforcer. I have to actually check how many copies of Valkyrie Enforcer Alung is playing, but I hope it's 4.
Now,
that would just end the game.
For sure. Now, oh wow. All right, because he did not play that Hammer of Might, we're gonna see. Oh, all right. But Alunga doing this in. I would actually have liked to have seen the Suffocate come out first.
Yeah, I don't think it would have mattered.
Yeah, I guess it wouldn't have because the Suffocate's not actually doing.
And that's game right there. There's the Valkyrie Enforcer we were talking about.
Yeah, did he even need to play the Valkyrie Enforcer? Yeah, he did.
So.
He did.
I think
well, no, he would have been at 11 and then 13. Okay, so never mind.
Yeah, it would have been one off, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, one off.
Okay. All right, so we're getting in there. So the game 1 goes to Alunga. That's yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
As much as Mono Justice is not the most as much as Mono Justice is not the most competitive deck, air quotes, I think it has a very good matchup against Felon Control. So we're going to see players actually go right back into the game because there's no sideboarding in the first 2 games, not until games 2 and 3 because it's a best of 5. But anyways, I think it's actually a good matchup for Alunga because of Aegis and because of evasion, because of flying, right? Those are 2 things that Felon Control doesn't want to see because Felon Control's general game plan is to play good ground blockers and trade 1-for-1 with removal.
I agree completely. And I don't know if you caught this in the deck list, but as a great answer to Permafrost, there is a spicy one of Stalwart Shield in Alunga's deck.
Oh my goodness, I did not catch that.
Yep, given the old endurance to again power through these go and power through all these permafrosts. We'll see if it ends up mattering. I'm pretty excited. Oh wow, and I completely missed the RX entry is when we were going through here as well. Wow, this is just a basket full of fun. So if he goes to permafrost this Hero of the People, he's going to be very disappointed because next turn that RX entry is going to come down. It's going to pump the Hero of the People to a 3/3 and pop the permafrost. Oh wow!
I think Oryx Entry and Copper Hall Bailiff deserve some amount of play. They're pretty good against tokens in a deck that doesn't have answers to tokens. If you're just playing Mono Faction, I think they're kind of underplayed. Yeah,
Copper Hall Bailiff I'm a huge fan of. I actually have been playing him on and off, especially when practice token starts getting crazy. That's one of my go-to decks just because I tend to play decks with Justice in them. Or go-to cards because I tend to play the decks with Justice in them. But yeah, I think Copper Hall Bailiff is great. The 2/3 is fantastic. It's like a pretty good body for 3, but the fact that it nerfs half the board and the Warcry too, it's got a lot of very positive things kind of going on.
Yeah, I mean, there are obviously board states where it's terrible, but I think the card deserves to see a little bit more play. But so this game right here, Buckwheat is in a really awkward position. He's getting, the Warcries are not inconsequential from this Oryx entry. And, okay, well, he's drawing the power and being able to, drawing a power off Wisdom and being able to play a power this turn is helping Buckwheat a lot because he really needs to get to this Vera and this Witch and everything.
Yeah, but even that it might end up being little too late. We'll definitely see. Mantle coming down here is going to be much better for Buckwheat because he's going to be able to set it to he's going to be able to set that Arc Sentry down to 1 power, or excuse me, 1 health. But this is still
Buckwheat's health.
Pretty rough. Yeah. Okay. Yes, we're going to end up attacking in here. Obviously, the hero people met its end earlier, suffocate, and then the annihilate coming down for Buckwheat. So Buckwheat is drawing the things that he needs to draw. But yeah, this is just
I mean, he's a harbinger off the top really badly.
Yeah. Yeah, and that is
that's
yeah.
it he concedes. Yep. There isn't really an out there.
Wow.
There's just any unit getting in is lethal, and he just could not block all of them.
Yeah.
He needed Storm or Harbinger.
Wow. All right. Well,
I quick 2-0.
I thought this would be a little bit more of a matchup, but I definitely I can definitely see how Ilunga is a little bit favored. I thought for sure that all the different board clears would keep Ilunga in check, but I think the Aegis definitely helps a lot there.
Yeah, Mono Justice is very good against Felon Control. You have to answer basically every threat because of the way it's set up with all the war cries and oath books. Any threat is a lethal threat eventually. Any threat becomes very threatening very quickly. And Mantle of Justice is a real card.
Yeah. As somebody that's been playing around with Timekeeper, I'm very quickly understanding the value of those influence matters cards, right?
Okay, well, that's different. All right, come on. We're talking about real cards. I said Mantle of Justice is a real card. Timekeeper's not a real card.
Hey. We're 13-2 with the deck right now. All right. Granted, again, need some more tries, but we'll see. You'll see. Everybody's gonna be crafting those premium determined strangers. Don't worry about it. Shush.
All right, so that is the quick 2-0. So we're moving into sideboard games now.
What
Buckwheat? Yeah, what does we have from the sideboard for both players here?
So there's a detain in Ilunga's board. I don't think that's going to be doing anything. Finest Hour, maybe. I like the Crown Watch Paladins a lot. Those coming in, just making your Heroes of the People a little bit better. And again, they survive a lot of what Buckwheat's trying to do. Copper Hall Bailiff, great at popping Aegis. Maybe that's bringing in if Ilunga just wants to get as aggressive as possible. There's 2 more Stalwart Shields. So getting around the Permafrost if Ilunga decides that is a big issue. That's what I'm seeing from Ilunga's side. I'm looking over at Buckwheat's side. The Death Strikes seem fine. Blackside Harbinger seems great to bring in. The Annihilates, the Suffocate. Suffocate, I'm a little bit mixed on just because it could be awesome, could be bad. I think the Permafrost, not terrible. I don't know. Like the Lightning Strikes are okay. Yeah, it's
really rough from the side of Buckwheat. There's just not a lot of efficient answers.
I have Winter seems like probably one of the better ones that he can bring in. But if Lungua gets on that Stalwart Shield plan, Winter's not going to do anything.
Yeah, so there's a couple interesting things going on here. So first of all, Detain, I want to touch on that. I don't think it's coming in this matchup, but I do think it's a reasonable sideboard card. So basically what Detain does here is it stops deadly units from, when you're playing Mono Faction, you don't have access to Torch. Normally you just Torch Scorpion Wasp or something. It also works against Steward of the Past, but I don't think that's worth it. I think mostly Scorpion Wasp is a big deal because your flyers are very valuable. So I just thought Detain is a really cool addition to the sideboard, but I don't think it comes in this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, for whatever reason, Buckwheat not playing his Direfang Spiders, which would be excellent in this matchup.
Does he really have? Wait,
no,
what do you?
No.
Okay, you
got
me. You got me.
I think the card is a little bit better than people get credit for, but that's just me. I enjoy garbage though. So, but we are in game 2, so we're gonna see the Owlet, or excuse me, game 3. We're gonna see the Owlet come down from Ilunga as their turn 1 play. How do you feel about that?
About Owlet over Tinker Overseer?
Yeah.
So unless you're against Armory, I think Owlet is the better play. It has a higher upside and a lower downside.
Okay. That's fair. And it looks like, just judging by Buckwheat's hand, it looks like Buckwheat did bring it a lot of that spot removal. Yeah. All right, so there we go. We're going to see the Suffocate come down on the Tinker Overseer. And Buckwheat seems to be in a decent spot, right? They've got some more card draw. They've got answers for every... So this will be interesting. If Ilunga goes with, okay, the Tinker Overseer, and Buckwheat fires off this Annihilate instead of using the Lightning Storm,
yeah, I think
we got
Buckwheat
a game.
I think Buckwheat
Okay.
is saving the Annihilate for weapons. I think he's a disciplined enough and skilled enough player to know that this is a deck that features a few weapons.
Yeah, it's got a couple. What do we see? We got 3 Hammer Might, 3 Mantle of Justice, the Stalwart Shield. Anything a little earlier? Not much, and then maybe a few more out of there. So not like an infinite amount of weapons, but a decent chunk. And then of course 3 Emerald Monuments as well.
Yeah, and I think I actually saw Ilunga sideboard into 3. Oh my goodness, 3
Yep,
Stalwart Shields. Then there's one.
That is a big Stalwart Shield. That is what we in the industry call a Stalwart Shield. Believe it or not, that's
Yep.
I think the proper terminology. We're going to see an attack in from that Silent Steward of the past. No reason not to. The likelihood of Ilunga blocking with only 1 card in hand, almost negative 50.
It could have been Finest Hour.
It could have been Finest Hour. It very well could have been. However, there wasn't a pause. So like I don't know. Maybe.
Funny topic, but anyways,
yeah,
it's not really a relevant point.
Not in the least. How do you? I kind of like playing out the Stalwart Shield there instead of going for that Hero of the People. Maybe I'm crazy. I don't know. But
yeah, I'm not sure. There's merits to both lines.
Yeah, it's just the 7. Just getting a 7/9 endurance unit just seems very good. But I'm sure Ilunga had a reason for it because like the Hero of the maybe he wanted to put the Stalwart Shield on the Hero of the People because Hero of the People is just going to get better the later that it's staying around, and that's one of the ways to make sure that you ensure that it's around.
Yeah, it can get Aegis, so that's very valuable.
Yeah.
So something interesting about this game is that, or I guess interesting is not quite the word, but the game is going to Buckwheat's plan finally, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ilunga has not drawn the Aegis units. Ilunga has not drawn Protect.
Yep.
Buckwheat has gotten his 1-for-1s, and he is now playing his big units, right?
Yeah. This is still pretty. Oh, all right. I was about to say that is a risky block if you're looking for my opinion. I understand if you're not, but yeah, just because we do know that there are a total of 4 possible Finest Hours after boarding here. I like this line a lot because you really don't care. Like you don't want to lose the Black Sky Harbinger, but it's much better to lose that rather than your Champion of Cunning.
Yeah, I'd rather have my opponent keep the Owl and keep my Cunning rather than lose my Cunning but lose their Owl.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Vanquish, not the greatest at the moment, but if he gets something to pop that Aegis, that's gonna be pretty big.
Death Strike, an amazing draw here for Buckwheat.
Now that Owlet not doing very much, just sitting as an 0/3. It can block the Bloodcaster, which is great. Oh, well, and there's that second Vanquish in order to be able to pop the Aegis. Let's see if he goes for it. I don't see a reason not to. So I'm trying to think if there would have been anything to give away, maybe having Backlash in hand. I don't think there is.
I think the only argument you could have for saving it is that potentially there's like a unit that is more relevant to remove. Like you play a threatening unit, and after he's attacked with champion, and then he thinks he's got blockers.
Yeah.
But as we've seen, Buckwheat is a fairly conservative player.
Yeah.
I mean, last time we said that he slammed a vanilla 5/5, but
Hey, that's a shiny Hero of the People though.
Yeah, it is.
That's a pretty nice. Excellent choice not running it out, especially as Buckwheat immediately the Vara's favor.
This
All
is really awkward.
Yeah, I liked just because Buckwheat has had these cards, like especially the 1 card in my hand. That means that that signals to me that it's probably a Lightning Storm or a Vara's favor. Vara's favor to either pop a Aegis or a Lightning Storm because it just hasn't been good the entire game yet. So I don't like playing that out. I understand why he did, but yeah, I don't know if that would have been my first go-to.
Yeah, I
But
don't believe there was a draw in Ilunga's deck that got him out of that situation there.
if he drew a Silverwing Familiar, then he's got a 4/4 Aegis lifelink flying Hero of the People on the same turn.
Oh! I meant after he lost the Hero of the People. But
Oh,
yes,
sure.
yeah.
Yes. Sorry. Yep. All right. Well, that's gonna wrap up. The third game. So now it's still 2-1 in terms of Ilunga's favor, but Buckwheat showing that it's not going to be that easy.
Yeah, definitely not. And we're also seeing the failings of the Mono Justice deck, which is that if it gets behind and if it can't get those war cards, if it can't get those Oathbook triggers, it's just playing a lot of really inefficient units, you know?
Yeah. And it definitely hurt with Bloodcaster getting the Inspire off the top of Ilunga's deck, because the Inspires, again, as somebody that has played Mono Justice before, Inspire is very, very important to the deck. You really need any additional draw that you can get to kind of power through what you can do. So who knows what would have been a card deeper right there. Wow. All right, we're gonna see a Sabotage come down. What do you think the take is? I actually like taking the Stalwart Shield too.
Yeah, I mean the options are Inspire, Vanquish, Stalwart Shield. Vanquish is just not that good unless he has two. Inspire is you don't trade for a cycler.
It's a cycler plus 1/1.
That's true. I mean, Inspire is a good card. I'm not knocking it. I just think that
Yeah.
Stalwart Shield actually has some more real relevance and gives him some more information about how he can play this matchup.
I agree completely. And again, players have access to each other's deck list. So now you know that there's only 2 more Stalwart Shields that you have to worry about. And I can guarantee you, at least from what we've seen, that all 4 Permafrosts are in from Buckwheat. So it just turns on way more cards in your deck, taking that versus possibly screwing Ilungua out of a draw.
Yeah, and that Lightning Strike was actually really critical for Buckwheat because he's stuck on power. He really needed to find an answer there. And the Tinker Overseer is a great draw for Ilunga.
Yes. All right, so we're going to see a Bloodcaster. Buckwheat's still stuck on power. Ooh, all right. Yeah, I actually do like saving the Monument here, because playing it doesn't, like looking at his deck, he doesn't have anything in the deck that costs over 4. So just waiting to get that 5th power actually gives you something to do with that 5 power once you have it.
Yeah,
so exactly right here.
Unless he's planning to play, top deck Mantle of Justice and play Mantle of Justice and Finest Hour in the same turn, it's not relevant to play the Monument there, and that's really a really narrow, not useful play. So yeah, there's basically no reason not to hold the Monument. This game is looking very difficult for Buckwheat.
I agree. How do you feel about not playing the Gemblade there?
I think he's concerned about Buckwheat's hand being full of uncastable removal.
Sure.
And he wants Buckwheat to use some removal on something and then play. He wanted to hold the Finest Hour for Suffocate. There you go.
Yeah.
He wanted to be able to attack with the Gemblade in a turn and not have it get removed immediately or something, or like make Buckwheat use removal and then play the Gemblade after. And
Makes
that's
sense.
just it. That's just it. Flyers are very good against ground blockers.
All right, so then that's gonna be the end of this quarterfinals. We're gonna have three wins going to Ilunga. Ilunga moving on to the semis. That's pretty exciting. Let's see what we're looking at. All right, we're gonna check to see if we can get our another quarterfinal match on there. But in the meantime, let's talk a little bit about. Should we talk a little bit about the Patreon? What do you think, Gabe?
Sure, I think we have that somewhere in there.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the Patreon. If you guys don't know, Patreon, I guess, is technically, but it's a way to help support the stream. So everything right now is completely bootstrapped by us. And so if you're enjoying the show and you want to show the show some support, consider hitting that Twitch follow button. And then if, like I was kind of going with the Patreon, that's a way to kind of monetarily show your support as well. So feel free to go ahead and head on over to the patreon.com/RNG Eternal. We've recently reached the goal of hitting $200 a month, so we're working on getting those Sunday tournaments going. This should be a regular occurrence, relatively close in the near future. Future goals include once we get to actually $250, we're going to be doing a bigger and better prize pool for the major tournaments. Once we hit 300, we'll be expanding the streaming network, which is going to be great. This is just going to be more content and more times. And then $400 gets us. $400 gets us the live champion, and so on and so forth. So yeah, any little bit that you guys can do. You also get a shout out on our overlays if you do a $5 or more, and then if you're a super baller shot caller, you get and you're doing $25 or more, I believe. You get $20. Then you get you get a nice call out throughout our overlays, and you get our ever-loving dying gratitude. How about that? How about that for just a measly 3 cups of Starbucks coffee a month?
That's a pretty solid offer.
Oh goodness! So what do we think about that that match, and then, or do we just want to jump into the bracket? What are you feeling, Gabe? What are you feeling?
Okay, well, that match went about how I think it was expected to go.
Fair enough.
It's a very rough matchup for Buckwheat. The bracket, the only reported result I'm seeing is aReNGee taking down Bradykin in the SPG team kill match. Yeah, 3-1. So that's Big Combre versus Bradykin was on Voda combo, correct? So that's 2 Combre decks taking each other down. And Voda combo is supposed to be favored there, right? Because there's a bigger deck.
Yeah, which is interesting. But if aReNGee aggressive start, then it's going to get in there. And so we know that aReNGee is now going to be up against Olunga. And I know we were talking about this a little bit before we went on air. Your feeling is that aReNGee is going to have the upper hand?
Yeah, absolutely. Flyers, Mono Justice specifically, they don't have reach. They're missing a lot of tools that Rakano or other flying based lists have. And they're up against the deck that kills Rakano,
Okay. Yeah, and I know we didn't actually get a chance to even announce the full top 8, but we also had Tony G versus Hythar. They're still in their match, and then it's Tiger versus the Ski J. It looks like Tiger, unfortunately, falling out in a very, very close series win for the Ski J. Ski J taking it at 3 wins. Tiger HC taking it, only getting those 2 wins in there. But again, very, very close series. Congratulations to both those players. We'll be seeing Ski J move on to the semifinals, and then who knows, maybe the finals. So right now, we're just waiting for Tony G and Hythar. What are your feelings on that matchup?
So that's Felon Control versus.
Actually, so it sounds like we're actually going to be jumping in there. So it sounds like Tony G is ahead by 1. So this current score is 2 for Tony G, 1 for Hythar.
Yeah, so I generally think, like I've said before, Felon Control is slightly favored versus the time matchups.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Again, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I'm curious. Let's see. So I'm having a little bit of an issue pulling up.
Yeah,
Tony's
I only have
stream.
Hythar's stream.
So we should be getting that quickly. It looks like they're in between games, so they should be going through. All right. So we are going to be watching from the perspective of Hythar. I like Hythar's name. It makes me feel like warm and fuzzy.
I think they may have just finished based on the chat logs here.
So yes, I would. I'm looking. I seemingly am going to be in agreement with Gabe again. I know it doesn't happen very much, but I think Gabe was able to read this.
Am I making the inference? Yeah, I think Tony G won that. Yeah, so we're going to go over the bracket really quickly.
Ooh,
so
boy.
Our top 4 has 2 SPG players in it.
That's conspiracy. What?
So something I want to talk about really quickly is the little storyline going on with aReNGee. Just bringing back his season 2 Invitational 90, just taking it all the way, taking it all the way to top 4. I think that's pretty neat. And he's my favorite to go into in that matchup versus Ilunga. I think he's the favorite there just because Flyers are rough against Combre.
Yeah, yeah, and I read minds. I will say, genuinely cool dude as well. If you guys have not been able to stop by his stream, definitely worth doing. Very helpful in terms of if you have questions. At least in my experience, he's been very open to answering them because I know I was pestering him quite a bit about this very deck that he is playing right now. But yeah, so you're still thinking I Read Minds is gonna pull it out.
Yeah, I mean it's just gonna be a really uphill battle for Ilunga. Like there's just so many ways to pop Aegis in Combray. There's Harsh Rule, Vanquish, Sandstorm Titan, so many things that need to be answered and so many answers. It's just really rough. And then Combray turns the game around really fast.
Yeah. Yeah, and Sandstorm Titan just seems like it would be not the easiest for Ilunga to overcome.
Yeah, Ilunga's deck seems very good against aggro and against shadow-based control lists.
Yes. I would definitely agree with that. And then looking on the other side, we have Felon Control, and then Ski J was on. I apologize.
I think he's on Burn Queen, but I could be wrong.
Yes, that is 100% correct. So how do you feel about Burn Queen versus Felon Control?
I think Felon Control is a deck that is kind of designed to beat aggro decks, but it doesn't always work out. So I think it's actually a pretty even matchup.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more surprised that Ski J is just playing Burn Queen. Ski J is not known to play Burn Queen. In fact, he has professed many times his hatred of Burn Queen.
So
it warms my heart a little bit to see him turn to the dark side.
One last hurrah, you know. You gotta what was that? Who was that? Burrows, right? You gotta do a little heroin to understand it.
Jeez.
I don't know. I'm more I don't know. I'm more in line with the Burn Queen. I understand what the deck is trying to do. I always go back and compare it to Jito Queen, and it's just hard for me. So then I just don't want to play it.
I mean, he's playing a very aggressive list. He's playing Impending Dooms on the top of the list.
Mm-hmm.
But he's playing 4 Bandit Queen. He's playing 10 1-drops. He's playing 2 Suffocates. This is a very, very aggressive list.
Yeah, he does have the assembly line. I'm missing my rallies. I'm missing being able to do silly things on turn 1 and turn 2. I don't know. Call me old fashioned.
Stone Scar is a really interesting deck because every build of it is slightly different, and they all seem to work anyways.
Yeah, it's almost like if you just put a pile of really good, similarly costed cards in a deck, it's gonna be good. I don't know.
I think if Eternal had a larger player base and we had a larger pool of games being played, I think we would have found the optimal Burn Stone Scar list. But
that's fair. Okay, so I think we are going to be watching Okay, so we are going to be watching Tony and Ski J here. So we're pulling up the streams right now, and we should be jumping in. Yep, should be jumping in
in just a moment. So how do you feel about the matchup?
I agree 100% with you. On paper, like Felon should be, fine against this. In practice, if Felon stumbles at all, Burn Queen is just going to take it. At least that's been my experience with it too. Like, if Felon Control is running on all of its cylinders, and mainly doesn't have Lightning Storm in the opener, doesn't have Lightning Storm, doesn't have Bar's Favor. I'm favoring Felon really heavily. If it doesn't have those things, I'm kind of favoring Burn. The fact that Backlash is not in the main for Tony, I think also hurts him in this matchup. So we'll see.
I think Island's favor is more than enough, and Backlash is really slow. You don't want to have that sitting around your
That's
hand.
True. Okay. That's fair. Oh, he's not running Tony's not running Backlash at all. That's right.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that's probably not correct, but whatever.
the Islands favor.
Who am I?
some guy that talks into a box. But yeah, no, the Eileen. So can we what do we want to come to a consensus on? Is Eileen?
I say Island.
Island? All right. So Island's favor. Yeah, Island's favor is going to be very good here. Let's see. So he's got the Flame Blast and he's got the Obliterates, and those are really the ones that you want to be. So he's only running 3 Flame Blasts, 4 Obliterates. Everything else is creature. Oh, he's still running 2 Rapid Shots. How do you feel about that?
I think Rapid Shot's still a fine card. I don't know about redrawing that hand. Also, one thing I want to touch on is Lightning Storm is a very good card in this matchup for Tony G, but there's a very real possibility of, having the triple Lightning Storm hand and then Ski J being like, okay, Instigator,
Yep.
Champion of Chaos.
Yep. Yeah, however, Tony does have the Felm Bloodcaster, which I think is another very, very good card in the matchup. It blocks a lot of what Ski J is trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, in that example, triple Lightning Storm, you double Lightning Storm and clean all that
Well,
up. But
I knew what you're saying. We were gonna drop it. I wasn't gonna call you out. I thought we were on good terms now.
I called myself out, right?
Yeah, I know, but I was like, all right, fine. We're going back to calling each other out. You're gonna have a lot more work than I do. So enjoy that.
Okay, I will. So the players are still figuring out whether the game is going on or what's happening, but I'm sure they'll sort it out in a minute. So I think Ski J is going to pretty clearly play the Instigator this turn. The question is...
Yeah. Running...
So next turn, I guess he's going to be trying to play this banner, hoping that the Instigator lives, and then hopefully develop a threat that he draws. I'm not sure.
Well, here's hoping that he plays his banner pre-combat, because if he doesn't, he's going to be sorely disappointed. And he does. So because I was like, I foresee very little possibilities where strike is not fired off from Tony on that Instigator.
Yeah, all these players in top 4 and top 8 are very good. And they're not. I don't think Ski J is going to make a mistake like that. Yeah,
it's a 2-power. Just 2-power, kill a unit and deal 1 damage to your opponent. Feels good.
In that scenario,
yeah. It looks like we got that Felm Bloodcaster down, and given Ski J's hand, that's going to hold the board pretty well. He is going to be able to play this Oni Ronin and get in next turn, attack. He has to trade off his Oni Ronin and throw a torch if he wants to get rid of that Bloodcaster, which seems fine. But given that Lightning Strike was drawn, I don't even think that play is going to be available.
Yeah, so this is exactly the kind of game Felm Control wants versus Burn. The games where Felm Bloodcaster doesn't just die instantly and you get blown out in tempo.
Yeah, so this is going to be interesting. And then that Death Strike is going to be able to answer the Argentport Instigator. So do you... Whoa, let's see. Okay. All right, so this is going to be... Let's see if Tony takes the line. Let's see if he plays around the torch or not. Doesn't look like he's going to. That Felm Bloodcaster is going to eat it now.
I think that's fine. Also, I don't think he even needs to Death Strike the Instigator. I think he can just Lightning Strike it and save the Death Strike for something more relevant.
For sure. This was assuming that the Lightning Strike went on the Oni Ronin. Right. If the Lightning Strike goes on the Oni Ronin, and then you have the Death Strike. Now he could probably just play the Steward of the Past, right?
Yeah, and as a Felm Control player, I really don't mind trading my Felm Bloodcaster for an Oni Ronin and a Torch. It just means that we're chugging through their cards. We're chugging through their hand, and that's where we want to be.
For sure. So here, I have to imagine we're going to see the Lightning Strike come down, and then conveniently, Wisdom of the Elder is going to be left up, so he's going to be able to draw another 2 at the end of the turn.
Yeah, and Tony G is absolutely drowning the Ski J in his card advantage right now.
Yeah. Oh, and there's another Bloodcaster. There's a Vara's Favor. I hate to call a match early, but I have a hard time seeing Ski J coming back from this.
Yeah, so it's going to take some kind of impending doom. Oh, okay, he's got Annihilate. It's going to take a lot of burn.
Well, he's got the not only the Annihilate, but he's also got the Death Strike.
Yeah, it's gonna take a lot of
Oof.
2-face burn and no Island Savers being drawn.
Yeah, and that
would be the line.
There's the Champion of Cunning coming down. That's going to buff both of his units at the end of the turn. So we might have to see this Flame Blast being used on the Champion of Cunning. And the Annihilate's going to happen at the end of the turn. All right. Well, it's still going to be taking 4 damage a turn. Interesting. Well, I guess like obviously he draws the Permafrost, which is fine here, but I almost would have liked just going ahead and annihilating at the end of the turn. Just have your most just be the most mana efficient, right?
Yeah, I think Annihilate is
or power efficient, rather.
It is efficient. If this was a big burn list with Umbran Reapers and Soulfire Drakes, I would be right there with you. But because it's not, and there's Bandit Queen and other things, I think the fast speed. Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I don't think it actually makes that much difference that he took a Bandit Queen. I don't think Skij really wants to draw a Bandit Queen here. But,
yeah. It was just going to allow for some pretty silly play. Would it have been lethal the next turn? I think it would have been close. Yeah,
it would have been close.
All right, so we're gonna see game 1 go to Tony G. Exactly how he wanted it to go. So we're gonna have one more pre-boarded game, but pre-sideboarded game. Actually, I guess that doesn't make sense either. One more game without sideboards.
You got it.
Yes, took me a few times.
Nailed it.
What do you see coming in the matchup? I guess we're about to start. But we can.
Yeah, I'm not looking at sideboards right at this moment. So this hand for Skij can very easily be insane, right? If he draws a relevant card to play on turn 3, like Assembly Line, and then draws a power. Oh well, okay. Well, there's a Lightning Storm, but the game is still very okay. Another Bandit Queen is actually not bad if he draws
if he draws a power. I was just about to say, like, that's not the worst thing in the world by any stretch of the imagination, especially with these. Well, okay, well,
yeah, now we're unfortunate now. Or okay, this is awkward for
Skij.
Yeah. Tony G also having a kind of awkward draw. He hasn't been able to do anything for 4 turns, but Skij has just had blanks.
Yeah, Tony now does have Death Strike up, so he's going to be able to bandit. So Skij is going to be able to bandit Queen. He's getting in at least 4 points of damage, but not too terribly much. And then I'm wondering on Tony's side, do you think we're going to see the Lightning Storm do a 1-for-1, or do you think that we're going to see a little bit of? Oh, okay. We're just going to see Witch. Okay.
Yeah, I think Witch is fine here. Witch is actually he's going to get punished slightly because of the second Bandit Queen.
Yep.
But I think Storm is a very viable play because he's got 2 Harbingers, and there aren't that. I mean, there are a lot of 2 health units, but there are also a lot of 1 health units.
Yeah, now we're gonna see Torch come down on that Witch, clear the way, and gonna take 8 here. This Harbinger is gonna do some decent things. They're gonna put Tony back up to 10 and give a pretty potent blocker. The benefit though for Skij is he's got another Bandit Queen, so that's going to give quick draw to all of his units, and he had the Torch if you wanted to take that line, right? So before damage, he torches the Black Sky Harbinger, the quick draw happens, and the Harbinger dies without actually gaining any sort of life, and he gets 4 points.
This game is actually very, very close.
Yes, it is.
This is one misstep away from lethal for Skij on Tony's side, and one, not taking the right risk or whatever for just throwing away the game and waiting too long on Skij's side.
So now if Tony goes for Lightning Storm, that opens up the ability for Skij to draw a power and then just win.
Yeah, exactly. That's why he's going for the Harbinger play.
Yes.
And that would have lost in the game, right?
Yes, it would have. So yeah, I think we're gonna have to see this Flame Blast come down on the Harbinger. Yeah, we're swinging in. We're putting him down to 3. Tony is dead to a lot of things.
These next few draws are really, really critical here.
Oh, did Tony just pass the turn without playing his banner?
I think he did.
He would have been able to play Vara. Then I think that was like given the mouse movement, I want to say that he was well aware of that. Okay. Here's a Death Strike.
Tony gets a Death Strike, which really helps him out, though. Kind of makes that misplay inconsequential.
Yeah.
Outside of Torch. Torch would have been made that very consequential.
Yes. So now let's see. Skij needs to draw either another Flame Blast or an Obliterate in order to pull this out. Is there anything else that does it?
Does he have Suffocate in the list? I think he might.
He does. He has 2 Suffocates. So Suffocates buys him a turn, right? All right. Now Flame Blast still does it?
Yeah, the window for Skij is closing very rapidly, but it's not closed completely yet.
No. It seems like an aggressive Withering Witch. Am I wrong? Do you not mind it?
Withering Witch does so little in this matchup.
That's fair. That's completely fair. Just get a body on the board.
Yeah, an additional blocker, like in case of Suffocate and something, you know?
And now if I'm Tony, oh man, attacking is like I want to attack, but I don't, because now this it has to still be Flame Blast again.
Yeah, the reason you attack is to play around Rapid Shot, right? Because Rapid Shot really just loses you the game if you're not attacking there. That is a very good draw.
Yeah, and this will probably seal it up. Yep, that's an Oni Ronin off the top. And we're lethal on board. Yeah, we're lethal on board. So I don't. It looks like Skij is going to be taking this, or excuse me, Tony's going to be taking down Skij. So yeah, all right. Looks like Felon Control doing its thing.
3-0? Was that 3-0 there?
No. This is just 2-0. We're going into sideboards.
Yeah, it's 2-0. That's 2-0. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to sideboard. Okay.
Yeah, somebody didn't want to talk about sideboards before. Now we get to.
Well, I was just confused with your, selection of words there, but
Maybe, I guess that's true. Maybe we would have gotten to talk about sideboards if I could figure out how to actually, say it. Anyway, what do you like in the board these decks?
So on Skij's end, I'm not sure. It's a little difficult, right? Obviously, you don't want Falchion and Sanguar, right? Those are not coming in.
Really? I thought those were the first 2.
Suffocate looks very good. Annihilate is the only targets are Steward and Vera. And you want to end the game before Vera comes down. So Annihilate loses a lot of value. And Suffocate also kills Steward. So that Annihilate is almost certainly coming out.
Yeah. How do you feel about Soulfire Drake?
That's what I'm thinking about. The cards I'm going over in my head are Sensari Brigand, Madness, Soulfire Drake, and Grenadin Drone. I think Madness doesn't get enough value in this deck. The units are not large enough. I think that's more for Sandstorm Titan decks.
Yeah.
So I think that goes out the window. Sensari Brigand is, I think, more for Armory. Decks that are less likely to have units on the board. Decks with Harsh Rule that are likely to kill their own units. So I think that just leaves the Grenadin Drones, the Suffocates, and the Soulfire Drakes. Soulfire Drake is very good, but it might be a little slower than what Skij wants to be doing. And it lines up very poorly with Black Sky Harbinger.
So it looks like Skij did bring in the Madness when I just glanced over there. So Skij bringing in the Madness, which I kind of agree. I think it has potentially very high upside, but getting to that point is going to be tricky. Cards that I like from Tony, I like the Sabotage. Don't mind the Lightning Storm, Lightning Strike. But that's about it. Maybe the Permafrost.
You definitely bring in the Permafrost. I don't know why. In what world you don't bring in the Permafrost?
Grenadin Drone.
Yeah, okay, but it's the same deck running Champion of Chaos. Come on.
Oh, and he brought in the Mistveil Drake. I actually do like that, right? Because it adds another.
Yeah, it does.
All right, so Tony getting a little bit of a slow start. Skij being on the draw, which is definitely going to help Tony out here. But Skij has got a pretty aggressive hand, especially if he hits a few more power.
So I think probably what Tony took out, I didn't watch, I don't know if you watched, but I think Tony probably took out Witches, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Unfortunately, I was only looking at the corner of my eye because I was looking at their sideboards and speculating instead of just watching what they were doing and commentating on that another time. But wow, we're gonna see a hit for 8 here, and there's nothing that Tony can do about it.
Yeah, this is the hand that SkiJ was looking for in the other 2 games that he just could not put together.
And a power off the top is going to be specifically a fire power is going to be nutso. Little less so with that lightning strike. Can I get? Oh, all right. Well, this is still fine, right? So he's going to get a champion of cunning coming down as a 4/3, and he'll be able, or excuse me, a champion of chaos, not cunning, as a 4/3, and he's going to be able to play that Bandit Queen next turn.
So that Lightning Storm looked very good for Tony G, but SkiJ really didn't mind it very much. That's we're seeing the power of Ornate Katana right there, right?
Yeah.
It traded for it was 2 cards that oh god, this is just so brutal. He's just dead here, right? No, okay.
No, because
he goes to 4, right? Oh no, he's got.
Well, there's the Lightning Strike and Death Strike as well. So he's only going to be.
He chooses to play a Death Strike because it's more mana efficient this turn, meaning he can hold up Lightning Strike and maybe do something else next turn.
Oh wow! However, with that Soulfire Drake in SkiJ's hand,
that's gonna be lethal.
Don't think Tony's got an out here, right?
No, it's just over here
because he can Lightning Strike the Soulfire Drake, but the amount of units that SkiJ has in his deck, even if he does
he's just dead on board.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was thinking hypothetically if he. Hey, whoa! Right.
I'm the one who can't do math. It's a joke, okay? Come on.
Clearly, keep your place. That's all I'm saying. But so that was so we're at 2-1. So we might actually see some. We might see the SkiJ scraping back in.
Yeah, Soulfire Drake was very good there. So, all right, obviously, Soulfire Drake is a good card. The question is, what did he cut for Soulfire Drake?
Yeah, that I did not see. And like I said, we do know that the madness is in there. It doesn't look like they're going to go back to boarding. Both of the players being happy with their decks, which I wonder.
He may have cut. What were you going to say?
I was going to say probably cut the Annihilate, right? And then maybe some of the. I can't see cutting the assembly line.
I think we got a glance at it, so I didn't actually take a look. I think he may have cut assembly line. That seems like against so many sweepers, it seems reasonable.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I guess it wouldn't be the first card I would go to.
Oh my! And he's brought in the Sensari Brigand, so he clearly has a different cyber plan than I did. Everything I said was wrong, apparently.
It's wasn't the first time. However. This is going to lead to some crazy. I actually kind of like playing the banner here, right? You're not doing anything else. You can still pretend you have torch, so that your opponent's going to figure it out when you don't have a pause. But now you get to Sensari Brigand here on time. You have all your influence requirements. Like stuff's going really good, and then next turn, if this Sensari Brigand doesn't die,
which we know it is,
you've got some. Yeah, gosh. If it didn't die, what are you doing? You're doing 12 next turn?
You would do 12 damage. Yeah, it'd be obscene, but that's not happening.
This Lightning Storm not bad. Let's Tony G save the Death Strike, which I think could end up being relevant.
I think this is going to spell the end for SkiJ, but obviously the game's not even close to over.
No.
We're having another one of those kind of awkward draws from both players. Like Tony G had a very slow draw.
Yes.
But SkiJ just had no relevant threats in the first few turns of the game.
Yeah, he had all attachments and add-ons rather than actual units. Okay.
Yeah, definitely a risk when playing Ornate Katana. I was going to touch on the power of Ornate Katana last round. I think Ornate Katana is a card that I've been running a lot of. I just think it's a very good card because it's very similar in functionality to Caleb Saver. Like if you get in one attack with it and draw a card, it's kind of like Caleb Saver.
Yeah.
And you really don't mind. Like it just makes your units big targets and people think they're really getting you, but you really don't mind a lot of the time. And it's pushing damage more quickly than playing another unit would. So sometimes it just makes your burn very live.
Yeah. And on this, and it's touching on the game really quick, the Pyro Knight, I thought that was actually an excellent considering SkiJ had been flooding out. But his choice to play it there left him wide open to Vara's favor. He's not going to be able to ultimate to get that to get the +4/+4, which would put it out of the lightning strike range and a number of other things. So that's a little unfortunate on that front.
Yeah, and having to use the Flame Blast on the Steward is really just a stopgap measure at this point.
I can't imagine we're going to see that Mistveil Drake played until another Aegis is gained by Tony, but maybe I could be wrong. Actually, since we do have an active, champion cutting now, so there's really no reason to not.
Yeah, SkiJ is just really not having a good time. You just want to end the game quickly. Don't let him draw into anything that could potentially get you.
Yeah, and we're gonna see he's gonna be dead on board next turn, especially with this Steward of the Past coming down, and lightning strikes being left up. So, yeah, it's. Does Flame Blast do anything here?
I mean, it does 9 damage.
Fair enough. All right, well, that's going to be Tony G taking it. I keep wanting to say Tony Jaa.
Okay, but, so Tony G beats SkiJ. And congratulations to Tony. This is his, I believe, second top 2, and I think he's won the last one he got top 2 in. And then Alunga 3-0 over G. To my surprise, let me tell you.
Sorry, I don't know where that came from. But seriously, congratulations to aReNGee and SkiJ as well. No small feat making it to the semis. I think both players, at least from what we've seen, played. I do not think that anybody made any improper lines. Obviously, didn't see the deck or the match between Alunga and aReNGee. But I have to imagine, considering seeing the play from both those players previous, had to have been a good one.
And Team SPG confirmed trash. Both players eliminated. So we're going to have a finals between Tony G and Alunga. And I think Alunga is actually favored. I think Mono Justice, against all odds, is actually now favored to win this weekly.
Yeah, I didn't say anything like that at all.
Okay, buddy.
At all.
But that would be a very interesting finish to cap off the set 1 weeklies. Mono Justice just.
Yes, it would. I mean, like, how fitting would that be, though, running into the set 2 being introduced later on in the tournament series, right? Like, we just complete shakeup just to go to show you that, despite set 1 even being around, meta shakeups can happen much like this, right? Like, who would have expected a Mono Justice deck at the very last second to be coming in? It's just very exciting for me.
Yeah, and I think it's a very interesting take on it as well. The 2 district infantry, I mean, we don't need to go criticize the whole day right now, but 2 district infantry is a very interesting amount of district infantry to run. I personally believe.
I actually think it's fine. The reason being, let's see if I still have that list up. Yeah, the reason being is it enables you to have the nut draw of 1-drop into Paladin Oath Book while still having a unit that's mildly relevant later on in Mono Justice, right? The only other option that I could think of that you might want there is the 1/1 flyer for 1 that has the ultimate for 8 that gives it +5/+5. It's a Valkyrie. It's escaping my
Valkyrie Aspirant is the card you're thinking of. I have no problems with district infantry itself. It's just the fact it's just running 2 1-drops just feels very high variance. But anyways, I think we're probably going to be going to a short break in just a moment. Do we have anything that we need to say before this round ends?
I think.
Let's see.
Yeah, I was going to say. I think we covered the top 8 bracket. So I think we're good to go. All right, so that's gonna end us. That's gonna end the semis for us. We're gonna be jumping into the finals here very shortly. Hope everybody's enjoying themselves, having a great time, and we'll see you guys again soon.
Stay tuned for Mono Justice versus Feln Control.